Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, y'all. In this video, I want to specifically talk about an issue that so many of us have experienced that I have dealt with my entire life. And that is not feeling Latina enough or Latino enough and being told by people in your own community that you're not enough. I think what a lot of people who use "you're not enough" as a way to attack forget is what it means to grow up in two different cultures. To try and really embrace that Mexican heritage, that those traditions that you grow up with, the language, while also being American and trying to, fit in and normalize yourself. It is really hard. And I grew up very, very Mexican, but in California. My first language was Spanish. A lot of people talk about no sabo kid. And, one of the biggest things that we leave out is how some of us Mexican Americans or first generation really struggle with having an accent when you're in an American school system or you're just in America in general. When you have an accent, it is like a target on your back when you are a child and you're going to school because it is the quickest way to be ostracized and bullied. That's exactly what happened to me and my siblings. We learned Spanish and perfected our Spanish in a way that was like quite admirable. I remember those days. I was like, damn, words are just flowing. My Spanish was great. And then I went to American school system where it was English and you spoke English. At home, my parents didn't speak English. So I and my siblings really had to learn English on our own. And I had an accent because I went from Spanish to English fairly quickly. And that brought bullying and making you feel like you did not fit in, like you were never American enough and never Mexican enough. So what did I do? Like a lot of us, you try your hardest to fit in, which means that you start to perfect your English in a way that inevitably your Spanish takes a hit. It was literally a way to survive in a world that I needed to survive. Otherwise, I was going to be ostracized. And it didn't mean that I abandoned my Mexican roots. It just meant that I had to, again, find that fine balance between both. And also, people forget that a lot of the time first generation come from parents who've been bullied, who've been ostracized, who they themselves experience that. I have a friend who doesn't speak Spanish, even though her name is as Mexican as it comes, but because her mother didn't want her to be bullied. So a lot of that generational trauma also carries through. I think a lot of people just, again, get so upset when your name is Maria Rodriguez or Alejandro Perez and you don't speak Spanish. And it's like, yes, you might not speak Spanish, but that doesn't mean that you don't have the cultural background, the traditions, the beliefs. I genuinely don't understand what's the point of calling someone a no sabo kid or telling them, hey, you're not Latina enough. Because what are we doing? Creating superiority in a class system within our own community? Like, I think we're divided enough already. We don't need more. And especially when it's coming from people in your own community. We have a world that uses us as a way to push their political agenda, as a way to divide, because they know that we as a collective are so much stronger. And yet you'd think that some people would be like, I see that. I am going to create more spaces for us to come together because we are more in common than we are divided. And instead, you have people who just use this as a way to weaponize. So honestly, amigos, if someone tells you you're not Latina enough or Latino enough, tell them to go fuck themselves. Whether you're Black, Hispanic, Indigenous, Mexican, American, Costa Rican, Guatemalan, having just moved to America, you are enough. No matter what people say, you are enough.